a general race here in the system, so I'm going to be doing draw redraw with that. I'm also going to be doing, get this pulled up here, we're going to be doing the transponder integration as well, showing off how that will work with MRP Live and the MyRacePass app, something that y'all would definitely be wanting to be taking advantage of there. Looks like we're doing MyLaps today, so we're going to get that open and ready to go. We'll get started. Again, if you have any questions about that, Alt and H is the spot to do it. We're going over everything here. So I'm opening up orbits, getting ready to rock and roll. Excuse me. That's going to be that. We're going to get to this guy here in just a second. This is my dashboard here. This is the test racetrack that we have here in MyRacePass. I've already gone in and set up my schedule and events, but what I'm able to do now is just go to race management here. I actually have an event for this day. It has all of my classes listed, and it's going to have my, based on how I set up my schedule. So I actually have a couple different classes here. So I have my 305s, late models, and sport compacts. If I make a last minute addition, say I wanted to add my 410 sprints, we can do that, or what we're going to do right here. So for me, I'm doing pill draw today, so these options are going to be kind of taking effect here. So we're able to do a couple of different things when it comes to that. So we can do what I'm doing here, which is a fast check-in process, which will just draw a number for me without having to do anything. That's what I'm going to be doing here, just for kind of our time here. The next way is that we could, before we pick a driver, we draw a number. So we draw a number first, then pick a driver. We can just manually put in a driver's number. We can pick a driver and then have him draw a number, or we can do it the other way too. This is each of these is manual check-in here. Since I'm doing it through the computer, I can set the pill numbers, the maximum pill as high or as low as I want. I also can rebase the pill, which means I'm going to set a new low number for that pill. What that means, let's say I set this number to 50. In this case, 50 would be the best number that I could draw, and 49 would be the worst. So I could set a new number 1 there. I also have my transponder options here. I'm going to set it to allow rentals on that transponder right here. I'm also using the default options for all of these classes. So each night you can set them here individually, or you can just click the ones that you're partial to, the ones you're going to be using every single night, set it to use the defaults, and then you pretty much don't have to come back to this screen once you got that set up and ready to go. But I like to show off this screen, like to make sure that everybody's aware of all the different options that you have and all the different buttons. Because if you're anything like me, I end up pressing all the buttons. So, so everything here is going to end up going down a line. So we have kind of everything's going to kind of flow that way. So when we click MRP Live right here, we're going to see some things. So this is where part of where that transponder integration is going to come in. This is where we're going to set that up for use throughout the night. I recommend just doing this before you get in to do entries, just kind of taking care of this, since you can leave this up and open for a while. What I'm going to do, if you don't have MRP Live, one of the places you can download it is right here. I also believe you can download it off of the dashboard right up here. So we're going to hit launch from web. It's going to pop up here, and it's going to get a little upset because I haven't matched up some things. So let's go do that. Let's match up a few things. So we have our scoreboard settings right here. So what I'm going to do, just copy this number and put that here. I have this TCP IP port, it's 50,000. I want to make sure the scoreboard feed is enabled. I've selected orbits because that's what I'm going to be using today. We have our MRP Live code right here. So that's what's going to tie it to the individual event. So what ties it to right here today is that MRP Live code. It's going to be different throughout from day to day. that you're going to be racing. But when we launch from web, it'll actually pull that code in for us. The next thing we have is the assignments path. So when I send the lineups, which you'll see in a bit, when I send those lineups through MRP Live, it's going to put them into a folder, and I'm going to designate where that folder is. So when I go down here, I always have mine in the desktop, in orbits, and I just create a different one every single day. So I do it this way. You also can have it in the same folder. Just make sure you clean it out because it does send the files in the same way. It's going to send them as groups and runs. So you'd want to make sure that you know which one's which. So make sure if you're using the same folder that you're not getting them mixed up or confused right there. So I'm going to have everything good to go here. You can also see the tooltips. This goes through here, everything that I've just gone. We're going to hit connect. And it should get connected for me. It's going to find it. Yep. And we're good to go. Now, if you ever do get different error messages, so you can, if I put in a different IP address here, it might actually pop up an error message here. I think that's different enough. And basically, the error message is going to tell you what it's looking for a lot of the time. So if you see it spinning here, this is taking a little bit longer than it did the last time because it's really going to be trying hard to find it. But if you see this error message is going to pop up, and essentially it's going to tell me that, yep, it wasn't found using the IP address and the port number. So, it's going to tell me to verify we're using the correct IP address. So in this case, I didn't put in the right number. I need to double check here. We're going to double check these two numbers here and then find it, connect it. And you can see how much faster that is once it's up and connected. We'll come back to this page in just a second after we get done creating our lineups. I'm going to take this time to also say, since we have some new participants, if you have any questions about transponder integration, Alt and H is this place to do that. We're going to be going over a lot of different things here, but feel free to ask any questions about things that we have here, things that you would like to see right now. This time is really for you. So if you have any questions, odds are if you have a question, everybody's going to have a question or a similar question. So we'll get going there. Let's keep moving. We're going to go into our entries. So today I'm just going to be working on one class, but we always have the option to switch classes up here. So we could always switch in between these different classes sort of on the fly at all times. So all of these down here are going to let me switch my different classes. But we're going to be using right now all of my drivers here. These are my 410 wing sprint drivers. These are the drivers that were racing with me last year. They're actually, some of them have completed online registration. You actually see all of your drivers in the settings tab over here. You can actually manage the drivers. This is going to be that driver list. I'm just going to pick my 410 guys. So this is where it's getting all of the default car numbers and default transponder numbers are going to be right here. If I want to, I can make a change to that sort of on the fly if I need to. Here, this would be more if I was doing it in advance. There's spots to do it in check-in. But if you just want to see all of your drivers, let's say I knew that Perry Prosciutto here, he actually retired. So we could actually just disable him or set him as a different standing so he won't show up in this list. So let's add in a driver. So when a driver shows up, we have a couple different ways of filtering them here. We'll start out of this filter box. So we could search for their last name. So we could search for their name or their car number so we can find all of our O2s. And when we find them, we'll click on them. And we're going to see we're going to see a lot of information about this driver here on this screen. So some of the things that we're going to see. So we do have his age and his profile here. We have his address on file. It looks like we got that when he completed online registration. So he completed registration with me for this class. We can see that right here. We have his default car number in as 02. If I need to change that, I could do that in this box right here. It's drawn a pill number for me right here. That's because how I set that in that settings. I'll also show you what it would look like if we weren't going to draw, if we were going to use the draw button. So I can show you what some of those will look like as well. We have owner information right here. So when he did online registration, he added in his owner information, and we could actually change this right here if we wanted to. So he has a couple different ones that he uses. We also can, by default, it's just going to have it pay. Looks like he's paying his mom. So we could change this if we needed to. We also have his transponder. He has a default transponder. We can also click on it, and we can see the different transponders that he's used at past events. We're also able to select if it's a rented transponder for our records, which I'll do today. The last thing I'll show off here is this lineup override. So with this lineup override, I can start him at the back of all heats or at the back of all races. So let's say he was a rookie. He just did not feel comfortable starting up front. We could just move him to the back, no matter what our lineup would say. Or if he showed up late, we could do that. That'll give him a special little icon. You'll see that in just a bit when I create the lineups. This checklist here too, if I uncheck this, he won't be in my active competitors list, so he won't show up here the next time here when I do that. So let's add him in. He is checked in. We can kind of see all that information here at a glance, right over here on the side. If we need to edit that, we can edit his car number. We'd edit the transponder number in this box, but we can edit some of this information right here, including the owner. We're also able to just remove him from here too, or put in emergency contact information or things like that right here. He's already done online registration though, so we have that in there for him. So we're cleared to enter in more competitors. So another thing we can do, we could definitely keep adding in competitors here this way, filtering them out by their car number. But another way that we can do this is to import from a previous race. So let's say we have a 2-day show. It's Friday into Saturday. We know a lot of the same drivers are going to be there. We can actually take some of these drivers and pull them over, copy over their transponder numbers and their pill numbers, and we're kind of good to go. If you have several drivers that opt to start in the back, it's going to depend on a few different things on who is there, but I think the person that's selected, it goes in order. So the person that said they were going to start in the back first would be the closest. But I think it works off of that sort of timestamp. I think that's sort of how it defaults to. I haven't seen too many times where you have more than 2 starting towards the back though. So it's going to kind of even itself out. And of course, if you have them over several heats, it'll start them in the back of a few different. It'll do that, but we can. Well, you know what? Let's just play around with it. We'll add another one here to start at the back of the heats, which is a shame because he actually drew really well. I'm gonna say that I have a different. So it'll also tell you have duplicate car numbers or transponder numbers right here. I need to have pretty special ones, so I'm gonna make sure that would have been a duplicate. I don't want to duplicate myself. So we'll add them in. This window right here, this would be what it would look like if we were to draw pill numbers for drivers. So you can have them click a button or click it myself. This right here is why I'm not a race car driver. I never do that well. So otherwise we can enter in drivers too. We could actually search for them up here. So let's say we have a driver that for whatever reason, when we search for him, he's just not on this list. We could actually look for him here and find him throughout the entire MyRacePass network. It'll have all those drivers there. Some things we want to keep in mind though when we do that. So first, always make sure that when you're filtering, you do the filter first, and I would highly recommend searching last name first. The reason is, let's say that Phil Pheasant here came in and he said he went by his full name of Philip. If we look for Philip, Philip's not going to be in there. But if we look for Vincent, no matter how we spell, if we put in that last name there, it's going to find that. It's going to help us weed out those variations there. Same if you're doing a search. Just search for last name first, and you'll be able to do that. We're also able to create a brand new driver if one doesn't exist. So we could create one right here. Some things about that, it's going to require that you put in a hometown for that driver. Please put in an actual hometown, because it's going to be searching here and kind of it will want to double check our work. So if we tried to make another Gary Grouse from Obo, Kansas, it'll stop us because there already is a Gary Grouse in the system from Obo, Kansas, and it doesn't want us to duplicate ourselves. So make sure you're putting in that kind of information there. It's not the end of the world if we do duplicate a driver, but it will confuse them. It is something that will kind of frustrate them too if their points are being split up. And it's something we just don't want to do, really, in general. Makes everyone's lives a little bit more complicated, and nobody wants to do that. So just be a little diligent here, and you can make sure we're not duplicating drivers. We can also use the scan barcode up here at the top, and that's a great way to make sure we're not duplicating drivers as well. So with that, drivers can have hard cards. They actually get them if they are licensed with WSOTA or USRA. They're going to get a hard card. Essentially, that hard card, they can get. You can scan them, and it'll pull up their correct profile every time. Excuse me there. If you have two drivers with the same name in the same hometown, let us know. That's a heck of a coincidence, though. If you have two drivers, same name and same hometown, racing in racing at the same track, that's a heck of a coincidence. With this barcode scanner, you could actually scan those hard cards. Also, drivers who claim their profiles, which we can see right here with these gold helmets here. So they got those gold helmets. That means that they have claimed their profile. It's free for them to do. It shares lets them share their news, photos, results, videos. It also lets them put in their schedule, and it'll also share results over for them as well. So another cool thing, though, is in the MyRacePass app, they get to have the in the app, they get the barcode right there on their phone. So you actually get a scanner that can scan that barcode right off of their phone, which will get that correct profile for you. And for help finding that, we actually do have a scanner that we recommend. I'm going to put that into the chat right here. We can actually go into the help desk. We have this barcode scanner here. This actually explains it more in depth. We have articles here, and it'll actually link to a Amazon page. We have this boxy looking scanner right here. You actually can have that right there. And so you have that scanner. That's one we recommend. You can get that. You can find others as well. This article actually goes over what we suggest for that. So you can actually hook up the scanner, scan them in through the hard card or through the MyRacePass app, and I'll actually check them in for you, which will help cut down on any duplication. Last way we have to enter in drivers is the speed entry button. And with that, when we have the speed entry clicked, we can actually click on them, and it'll go through there unless we have a duplicate car number, which I have here, a duplicate transponder number. So I believe I've taken the 87 a bit, so I'm going to add more in there. So you can see that because I'm just checking them in and I have the pill numbers automatically drawn for me, I can enter in guys pretty fast. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to be entering in the transponder numbers. I need to have a specific set of those, But if you have any questions, feel free to ask those. Alt and H is the spot to do that. I'll be answering all of those there. Awesome. So we're going to go get set up with our races right here. So something that's a little bit different from, we kind of rolled this out last year, was this previous races setup. So I can actually click this and it'll pull in all of my past setups that I've done for races. It goes pretty far back. Actually, I think it goes up to 50 races back. So that goes by class, so I can pull in how I've set them up in the past. I'm going to show you how to do it manually, though. So we can click Add Races. I'm going to be doing one heat and one A feature. I can do more than that, though. So if I wanted to add more heats, I could do that right here. I could add features, heats, dashes, qualifying, specials, and hot laps. And I can go all the way down to a Z feature if I'd like to. I can also put in my laps and how many are going to go to tech. And when I click Add, this is going to be sort of the main thing we're looking for right here. We're going to set up our transfers, and essentially what transfers are, it's going to want to know who's moving on to the next step. So for me, with 10 drivers, I'm just going to send everybody to the next step. So everyone's going to go, but I can get pretty specific here if I wanted to. So if I had a B feature, I could set to the top, the first person that won the heat goes to the A feature and everyone else goes to the B. I can get, like I said, pretty specific with who's going to each individual race in the system. I also can add more heats from here if I'd like to, add more races, add more A features. If I'd like to do that, I can. I can also add sponsor information, and I can rename my heats and my features here. So I could change that up too. Last thing we're able to do is we're able to change how many drivers per row we're going to have. So it's going to default to 2 for pretty much everything except for qualifying, but you can go 1, 2, or 3 per row on those lineups. I'm just going to keep them at 2 for today, but you do have that option. The last thing here too, the difference between per race and from group. So by default, it's going to go to per race. That means it's just going to take drivers out of every race. For example, if we have 4 per race, that's going to give me 8 drivers because it's going to take 4 out of heat 1, 4 out of heat 2, give me 8 to the A feature. 4 from group will give me 4 drivers in general. So it'll give me the best 4 for that lineup. So this is generally used for passing points. So it's going to know who's going to go there. So it's going to give me the best from group there. I'm just going to take all per race and save that for today. But if you do have any other questions about how you would do passing points, be sure to let me know. I'm going to remove that extra heat. We don't need 2 heats today. We're good on that. Let's go into lineups here. So when we're doing our lineups, we can definitely just click on the drivers right here and X them out just like that. But a faster way to be doing that would be to hit this green calculate lineups button, and that'll pull up this screen. So this is actually the lineups that I'm more likely to be using throughout the season. The first time that you do this, you're actually gonna want you to go here. This is the lineup settings. I've actually gone in and grabbed the ones that I'm going to be using. You can see we have a ton of different ones to choose from between heats and all that. So you can still have that option to view all of them if you'd like. But for me personally, I'm just going to take this heat from Pill Draw and calculate it. So you can see it did go by order. So it did put them into that order, broke that there. So how is this calculated? It's going to show here. Looks like it did start them at these little keeps there. We got that starting at the back. We can see that order here. A lot of the different lineups will have that how is this calculated button. So you can see from here, just that. We're also able to move drivers if we want to. So we could click and drag them where they need to be. Right here, we can also exit driver out of a race. If we had an extra heat too, we could move them in between the heats. We're also able to share right here to our Facebook and Twitter page right from here. Also, when I hit calculate lineups, you're going to see that it had this set races to lineups public. When I did that and hit calculate lineups, it also updated the MyRacePass app. So if you were to look for your favorite track on the MyRacePass app, you're going to be able to find those lineups that I'm creating right here for all the different classes. It'll also show the live timing, which we're going to get to in just a second. So I do see we've got some questions there. I'll be answering those towards the end there. But if you have any other questions that come up, Alt-H is the place to do that. We're going to send our lineups. So it's going to say the lineups are sent. We're going to check our assignments path. So when I went into here, I need to clean this out. I am very bad at cleaning out my races at the end of nights. We're going to import groups and runs. And it's going to ask us where we want to do that. We're going to go to the file here that I put. We're going to import our runs. Hit open. And you can see that it's already done it. It's got our heat 1 here. So when I hit send lineups, it's actually going to send all of the lineups that are in this lineups mode, which is when we created those lineups, it put them in lineups mode. So for me, I just had the one race, so it only sent one race, but it'll actually send multiple. Send all the transponder numbers and everything here. It's actually even got the lineups right there. And when we go into our MRP Live tab right here, it's going to be waiting for something. It's going to be waiting for me. So I do not have the benefit right here of having a full field of race cars. So I have to use this track simulator. So we're going to be simulating the cars going around the track. So we'll start them here, get them going. And it's actually going to be updating. You can see right here on the MyRacePass app. And through here, this is what fans will be seeing. I like to just watch this and make sure that the connection's good. We can also click on an individual driver if we want to follow them. You can see that right there. You can also see my desktop there if you hover it. Yeah, so you can actually just follow along. It'll actually keep track of that. It's going to auto finish because I put in the laps here. It's going to help me out here. But when I hit, if I was to hit a caution, it'll show that there's a caution in there. It'll show pretty much everything. And it's just going to kind of throw the checkered flag for me. All right. And we got that finish order. So I'm going to stop my test race cars here and show off this. So as soon as we hit stop right here, stop the timing of the active run. That's going to be the cue when we go into results. Those results are ready to be moved over. So you see from the latest pending race, we're going to move that in. Our results are just automatically in there from that. So if I pull up this information, we can see here all those car numbers. I go by car numbers here. So 46 all the way on down. All of our different car numbers. Pulled in that information and their final times here too. See that right there. From here, we're able to move drivers around if we would like. So let's say that Phil here, for whatever reason, his transponder, he just didn't charge it, ran out of battery. We can actually move him up here, click and drag him to the top, or wherever he finished in this case. We can also set if they did not finish, did not start, we're disqualified, we're black flagged. And if you're ever using passing points, you can use this no passing point option right here. We're also able to share again to Facebook and Twitter right from here. And we have a media format as well. Right now, we're going to hit save as completed. As soon as I do this, this is going to update again on the app for me. So we'll save that as completed. It is ready to go. We can go right back into lineups. And we have our A feature. There we go again. We'll hit calculate lineups. For me, today I'm going to be doing a redraw of just, I'll do the top 5 based on redraw. So I'm going to pick the A feature from heats and Bs, which is just going to be a straight up sort of lineup. Hit calculate there. Got our lineup. Here in lineup options, we actually have a couple different options. So I can invert kind of on the fly if I wanted to just invert my top 5. You can see that flash there. And it's just moved them, inverted them however many I wanted to. So if I wanted to invert the whole field, so if I wanted to do worst finish to the front for mine, I could actually just click 10 or more. If I hit 20, it'll do that too. I also can hit this redraw button. It's going to ask if I want to save my changes, and I do. We'll select how many we want to redraw. Let's just say 5 today. Seems like fun. And then we have a couple different options. So if we have them all draw manually, we can do that. We can just put in whatever they drew. We also can hit the auto redraw right here at the bottom, or just auto redraw all of them. So see that we got that here. It's going to mix them up. And for those, you actually see this number right over here. So if you have a lineup too, I know there are some lineups, opening night lineups too for certain sanctions that'll have that. If you click that, it'll take this into account for you, and it'll also have the redraw options, that screen that you just saw there. But if you ever just wanted to do a redraw in general on top of a lineup that was already existing, you certainly could. You're going to see that again right here. Other things that you have access to here too is this lineup monitor. So when I clicked on this in the tools menu right here, we actually can see the full lineup right here. This is actually going to be updating with our lineups as they happen. So I could have a screen in the pits or where have you hooked up to this page. As I'm creating lineups in MyRacePass, it'll put those lineups here. And as those lineups get, or as those races rather, get completed, they will actually be moved out of the way for ones that are going to be happening. So that is an option that that we have here for you. Click on this. Another thing that we're going to be doing here in MRP Live that'll be showing off is this lap viewer, which is going to be doing a lot of what we saw on that MRP Live page. Missed a step, didn't I? I got to send the lineups. So we're going to send those lineups one more time, and we're going to import the groups and runs right here. So we're going to import our groups and runs. Got our runs. Our A features right here. Now we can do that. Let's get the simulation going here. And we'll go across the line. So as I pull up my track simulator, you see it's going to be doing the same thing here. So you can actually have this screen up and going in a few different places. I've heard a lot of people do different things here. They put them near the concessions as a great spot for them, so that way a fan isn't missing the action here. And again, these are also going to be available on the MyRacePass app. So for free, you're going to get the live time. You're going to get the points. You're going to get the lineups, rather, the results, and then you can have access to this live timing here right along with it. So I'm going to be ending this right here. All right, that race is going. So again, we're going to stop this here. You will actually have real race cars instead of little dots on a screen. So when I go right here to this, so I still need to hit this stop button right here. So we'll confirm that we want to stop the timing here. If we know we've done that, we can just refresh it. You can see right here, it's already right there. latest pending race. There we go. Let's save this as completed, and we can move on to our points and pay. So while we go into points and pay, if you do have any questions here, I'm going to be getting to the end relatively soon here. So if you do have any questions, be sure to ask those. Be answering those questions. You can either ask it to everyone or to me directly, and I'll be answering those as they happen. So we'll click this Add Points and Pay group. Before I started the night, I actually created a few different points and pay schemes here. If you want to double check where yours are, it's going to be in the settings, both in race management and in season management right here. We do have these point schemes. You can actually double check those right here. These are the season point schemes, so these are going to be the ones that we're going to be applying throughout the year, and drivers are going to be accumulating. We also have the lineup point schemes, which are going to be for passing points. So we can double check that. I'll be going over this and how I did that in just a bit. I'm going to pick my 2018 points. And for me, I've actually broken out pay schemes differently. So everyone gets the same points. I just do pay. Everyone gets a different pay scheme. We're going to apply it to schedules. So this event's only a part of one schedule. But if I was, let's say I used the point average for every driver, I might want to have a different schedule right here. So I might want to have a special schedule. Or if this was a part of a like a big event, like a week-long big event, and you accumulated the points over throughout the week, we could apply that to a separate schedule as well. We also can apply points to competitors, owners, or teams. And if for any reason I didn't want a driver to receive points but still receive pay, I could uncheck their name right here. And this one right here will award points to the next position that would receive those. I'm not going to do that today. We're just going to click Add. And based on how I've set up my points and pay, it's actually calculated all that out here. So I have my A feature right here, all of their finish pay, my heat, all of their pay. If I need to adjust this at all, let's say I just really don't like this guy and I just want to take away $50. This guy's a buddy, so we're going to give him 10 extra points. We could do that. These are made up people, they don't mind. So we're going to save that. We're going to save that, and it's going to update those points right here off to the side. We're also going to be able to create payments right here. When we do that, it's going to take us to this screen. We can say how they're getting paid. So we have a few different options. I'm going to do checks for everybody. The drivers that I selected as having their pay go to the owner, you can see that it's actually put that right over here. Got that owner pay. And so when we create checks, it's going to be these 3-part checks. You can see that model number here. We can put in our check number and create those. It's going to create all of our checks. The drivers that had addresses in the system, it'll actually put that in there on these. So you can see that Gary, we had an address for him. And we're able to print these out right here. Back on this create payments screen, we will have a report right here that keeps track of check numbers. Does this by class. We also have a QuickBooks export, and this will export it to the desktop version of QuickBooks. We'll go back to our points and pay. We're going to take a look real quick at our different reports. So I have a variety of different reports here that we could look at. So if we wanted to see our lineups, we have 3 different lineup reports that kind of display the different information in different ways. So I can split this up, 1 per page. Or I could view a specific race. This is going to show all of them. So if I just wanted to show A and B features or just A features, we could. we're able to export this specific document to a PDF. We also can make it smaller. If we want to just fit in even more information on here, we can. And on a lot of these reports too, so we can use the points awarded here. If we want to print a specific page, so if I just wanted my payout summary, you can see that I just hit this button right here to toggle off right here, and I have that right here. So for this one, we can see all of our different payout that we're going to be going here. And this one we can actually customize with the different information here. So if I wanted my car number here, this points awarded is one of them. I also like points by race because this one breaks it down a little bit more and tells me my owner right here. So we can actually get rid of the start if I didn't want that. I don't really care about the points. And you can see we have our positions, and what they got paid for my A feature right here. We can have them sign off on that. And it'll also show if we have that owner here. Then I also said we're going to go take a look at our point schemes. So here they are. We can add different point schemes if we want to. We have a few global point schemes added in. So if you want to use a sanctions point schemes, you can. So if I wanted to add in a Wissota one, I already have one in, but could add that in here. And now it's a selectable thing. These global presets, I can't really adjust the points. They're going to be working here based on how those rules were set right here. But if I wanted to create one that I did want to adjust, I can. So let's do that. Let's do March 12. We'll add one. I already have a few points and pay schemes in the system, so it's going to ask if I want to copy these over. I don't want to do that. I'll add a breakdown. We'll do a feature, and then I'm just going to do, we'll start with 80 points, and we'll decrease them by 5. And then we can actually put in 20 cars here. So when I hit add rows, it's going to do a couple things. So it's going to add in 20 spots, and then it's also going to decrease by 5 each time. And that's just a time saving thing too. So you can see I actually didn't do very good math. And I've ended up giving people negative points for finishing towards the back. I could actually just put in the points back here and just kind of adjust it on the fly. I'm also able to do the same thing with pay over to the side. So if I wanted to have different pay schemes or the same one, if I wanted to put in both of them the same, I could. I could put in show up points here. I can put in non-start points. So if they don't complete any laps, I can give them points. I'm also can set if drivers don't receive show up points for being in a specific race. So if I don't want my A feature drivers to receive any show up points, we can mark that right there. I also can create points for anything really. So if I wanted to have B feature points, let's do that one more time. I think it got a little confused on me. Let's add that breakdown here for the B feature. Do 10. Let's just say you get all of them here. You can see this A feature button right off the side. If I click this right here, any drivers that transfer out of the B feature to the A feature won't receive those 10 points. And if you have any questions about that, yeah, it goes to the first non-qualifier. It's going to get this. So first right here, if you're transferring 4 out of the B, it'd be 5. The 5th guy would get it. But the reason we click this here is so that I don't have to put in blank spots or anything like that. It's just going to know that whoever doesn't make it out of the B is going to get these 10 points. Or I could do it for pay. So I could do that way. Lineup point schemes, if you have passing points, it's going to work a lot in the same way, except they won't have payout. And then you'd select that when you select your lineup that you're going to be doing. So if you have any questions here, feel free to ask away. It's going to be Alt and H is the spot that we're going to be doing that. Also, in on today, we did have a discussion here set for online tickets and for apparel. So I'm going to be going over that. But if you do have any questions about anything that you've seen or anything that you'd like to see, let me know. We'll go over that here as well. I'm going to leave it open for questions there. But we'll have our, give me one sec here, and I'll get set up. We'll go talk about tickets, how to do that real quick, and we'll talk about apparel real quick. All right, just had to take a quick drink of water there. Excuse me. So right here, what I just did, I went to season management, and I have my events listed out, my upcoming events. I'm going to click all events right here in my full schedule. This is what I was talking about schedules. I have multiple schedules going on. This was a group of events in January. I just wanted all my January points to go to one spot. So I did that. But we're going to go down here. Let's say we want to add tickets to an event in May. It'll show me here no tickets are added to this event. So I can click on that. It's going to take me to my specific event. Now, I'd highly recommend, in general, just to have a better name than the default name. The default is just going to be the date at the place. So for me, it's going to be 5/1/2019 at your favorite track. Try to make every event, every race that you have is special. It could definitely be someone's first race, or I don't want to have something here that's going to catch the eye. A lot more than 5/1/2019 at your favorite track isn't the most captivating spot here. So what I'm going to be doing, so let's say that this is actually superhero night. Let's call it that. And I could put in a description about superhero night right here, a lot about it right here. I could also put in that my times here, and you'll definitely want to do that for the track. So on tickets, we're going to add tickets right here. And it's going to break down all the names and the prices and pre-sale. So start up at the top. We have our name. I've renamed it to Superhero Night. What's available from, let's do right here from today. It's going to be available until just a little bit, looks like midnight the day before. I'm going to be stopping that. I also can set a sale price for those tickets too. So if I wanted anybody that bought tickets a month early to get a special sale price, I could do that. What do I mean by that? If I go down here, I can actually set the prices here. So let's say the prices for this ticket are 15, but I want my pre-sale to be 10. I could do that. So anybody that buys a ticket before April Fool's Day at 6:18 p.m., we could do that right here. We have that pre-sale price. We're also able to set how many of these tickets are available. So if I wanted 500 or 5,000, we're also able to change the name here. So one that I see often for kids general admission, we do kids, let's do 12 and up as a specific price. And these are more guidelines too. So if I wanted to do, kids 5 through 12, we could do that too. Set specific prices. We also can do that through pit passes right here too. So we can have different options for pit passes, and that's going to break that up here when we create it. So I'll add our event. We just have that adult general admission. I can share this out right here to my Facebook and Twitter page. Highly recommend you do that. That allows the more people to know about it. the more people that know that you can buy tickets at the track, the better. Or we can edit this here. That's going to take us to our special ticket page right over here. See, we have Superhero Night right here, one we just made. We're able to see a bit about that. So we can set it as active or inactive. I'm going to actually set this as inactive because I don't want anybody to buy these because it's not a real track. I can feature the item, which will make it more prominent towards the top of the page there. I can see who's sold. I can see my sold tickets, so I can see who's bought them, and it's going to break that through the different groups that I've made. So if I had Pit Pass as an option, it's going to show that off. I can hit redeem right here. This actually allows those tickets to be scanned, the vouchers there. So essentially how it would work, if someone did buy a ticket through me, they would get a voucher that has a barcode on it. I could scan that voucher and put them in, or I can use that report and check them off that. And then at the end of the night, I just hit edit ticket status, say the event ran as planned. Here, it'll text me a code that's based off of, we basically send you out a form. You just make sure that when you put in the phone number for that form, it goes to a number you can text. We'll actually put that in there. It'll text you that code, say the event ran, and then you get the funds in your account the following Tuesday. So that's sort of the process there. You get option here for coupons, so we can add coupons too for those, so we can add in for sponsorship. And as Josh is saying here on the chat, drivers actually also will be able to get special links to the tickets there. And when they sell tickets using their special link, they get $1 for every ticket that they sell. So you can actually see here, let's follow along. So this is a track here that is selling tickets here on their schedule. See this little ticket icon right here. Drivers, if you go to their profile, you'd actually be able to click on their tickets right here. Click on it, and if you bought through their special link, if they do have that plan, which again you can get for $9 a month, that'll be available right there. So the drivers will have the same icon right there. They're able to put in that they're going to go to that race when they put in their schedule. Again, they get a whole dollar. So for $72 a year, they could, start selling tickets for you, and kind of be salespeople for you, which is awesome. So if you do have any questions about tickets, I'm going to go through apparel and then leave it open for user questions. Feel free to ask those. Alt and H is the place to do that. We'll be answering all those questions for you here. So what is MyRacePass apparel? So we're going to go here to MyRacePass.com. You're actually going to be able to see here on the store t-shirts. All right, so we have a couple different options here when it comes to promoter t-shirts. So we have level 1 and level 2. So the way that these would work, I'll show you the options here in just a minute. But essentially, you would pick that option. We would design something for you. We could put that up on your website if you do have a MyRacePass website. We'll also put it up on the marketplace right here. I'll get that open for us. When someone buys a shirt, it'll actually send out. We'll actually create it and send it out as it's ordered. So you don't have to worry about having any inventory or anything like that. And you just set the prices on those and you make the profit for each one that you sell. So it's a pretty awesome thing that you get there. Another cool thing that you get when it comes to both tickets and T-shirts is that that's part of the goals that we have here, the rewards program. So when we do MRP Live, which was that transponder integration, we do tickets, we do T-shirts. When you do those things and hit the goals for those, each goal that you hit is $50 a piece. If you hit all three, we'll throw in a bonus $100. You can get $250 off next year's subscription. So $250 off. That'd be awesome. It's sort of my goal personally to make sure that we have as many people as possible hitting that goal. I want to make sure that you guys are paying as little as possible for all your subscriptions. That's sort of the main thing. If I could do that, I'd be over the moon there. So let's take a look here. The difference between level 1 and level 2. So these are going to have sort of set. These are proven designs that we know in the past have actually done fairly well for a lot of tracks. So you can actually do these. We'll put in your track's logo right here. We'll also match the colors and things. So like this one says Saturday Night Thunder, be race on Fridays. We'll change it to Fridays. We understand how that works for you. We'll also put sponsors on there too, and that's a huge thing. Is that's the ability to have those sponsors on there. A lot of folks, you go up to a sponsor and tell them about this opportunity where they can have one, where they're going to be prominent on there. Sponsors love this kind of thing. Go in, tell them that they can do that. You can get that going. The level 2 is going to be a little bit more open, and you're going to be able to pick the pose for the car that you're going to like here. So let's say I just like this one right here. We can do that, match it up to a lot of the different colors and things. So if I do that, we can see we have a store here. We can actually pick. You're going to actually be able to see the different options that we have here, or we just want track merchandise. You can see those right there. So let's take a look. I like this one. I just like blue. We have a lot of different varieties of colors, sizing options, and you don't just get shirts too. So we got long sleeves, hoodies, tank tops, all that's covered here with that one payment there. Again, and we'll just need that form. This would be the same form that we'd need from tickets. Then we deposit the funds that you get from those sales every month. You have to set the prices on those, and then make the profit for each one that you sell. So really cool, great option that you have available to you as those tickets and T-shirts right there. Alrighty, so I'm gonna take a drink of water real quick and leave it open for questions. Alt and H, the spot for questions on that. Be answering questions for the next couple minutes, answering some that have happened before. So if you have asked a question, I did see it. I did not ignore you. I promise. I'll be answering those for you here. We'll get you rocking and rolling. But Alt and H, the spot to do that. Questions about this or anything that we've gone over previously. Josh has mentioned WISSOTA has offered a level 1 shirt. So if you have a WISSOTA track, let me know. We can get you rocking on that. Get you going on your free shirt. Get you going there. Also, I will be posting the survey link too. So fill out that survey. Let us know if there's anything that we can do to improve. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. We really do take that to heart because this is about you. I could talk to you all day about a lot of different things, but I want to make sure that this is important for what you guys are going to need for this year. And if you do fill that out this at the end of this month, we're going to be given $200 off for 2020 subscription, and that does stack with the rewards program. So, I don't want to drop any hints, but hint. So you do get that. I'll go in there. So, just a suggestion. Questions will be answered here. Alt and H is the spot to do that. Be answering those. Just a quick second. Let me drink some water. Alrighty. So I got a question here about a non-qualifiers race. So for that, I would probably just have something in between there because you can rename races in this races tab. We could create something that is a C feature that works very similar to how that would work, and then create a B feature that would be a qualifier race. So to kind of go change history for how this worked, I could make this a B feature and this non-qualifier. Because I have the ability to change the names here, it can kind of keep that same flow while being in that same spot there. Is it possible to have car numbers on the payout reports? Yep. Some of the different reports here do have that. I believe the points by race was the one that I showed off. That does have that car number, the pay owner. We are actually able to customize this one, and I like this one a lot because of that. Especially if you just pay for just the features, it'll break those out there and show the pay right here. So pretty customizable. All right. Give me one sec here. Again, Alt and H answering the questions here. Let me know if those are answering those for you. You're able to message me direct too, in case you want to just between the two of us. That is okay. If you want it to not be public, I'll answer that for you. So we got one here in the driver entry screen. Is there a place to indicate whether or not they've completed a W-9 for the current year at your track? So what I would do for that here in entries, for one, I would definitely do online registration for that because that way, let's go here to here. Let's click on the right screen here. I'll click on our registrations, view our registrants. So each person here, I actually can, when they fill out their form right there. So right here, I've filled out this online registration just as myself, as an individual. You can see this view registration form. So I could print all these out, right? And on the back of it, I could put in or attach with it a W-9 form. So I could have this, get their tax information, and then when I receive this at the end of the night, I could confirm them right here. And then when I confirmed them, you saw when I was in the race management side right here, if they filled out an online registration with me, I think he has, it'll be a confirmed. So when they're confirmed right there, that's definitely a way to do it. That he is confirmed, and then that shows that he has that. If he's not confirmed, then we don't have that information there. If he is super, super old school, and just, you could definitely also fill that out yourself right there. So you could fill out the registration, add him in as a registrant. So if I wanted to add in a person, it'll actually keep track of the information that's in the contact list for me too. So it'll pull over. So BJ Buffalo already had his address information there. And then we can confirm him and be the same sort of process, but we can do it manually too. Yep. Josh also mentioned too, if you are in a sanctioned event for USRA or WSOTA, it'll also show if they have a license down there as well. And it'll show in red if they don't have a license there. Again, Alt and H is the spot to be doing that. To be asking any questions, I'll be answering those questions here for the next few minutes or until I stop getting questions there. So don't be afraid to ask them. Josh has been going through here. I'm going to be posting the link right now to right here. So that link right here that I sent out, that is the link to that survey. So you can fill that out. Let me know how we're doing. Be entered into that drawing to save some money for next year. Yep, and as Josh did point out, you can use your own online registration because it'll show to both. It'll show both USRA and or WSOTA. I do know some drivers are both. Totally awesome. Also, for your online registration, you can share that out. So you can share this right here. We've linked up Facebook and Twitter, so we can do that here. We also have an online registration. You can see the form right here that they're filling out. It's going to be right there. So you can kind of get a look at that. So let me know if you have any questions. Alt and H is the spot to do that. We'll be here for a few minutes here, answering your questions about anything. So don't about anything related to the system. Happy to answer those for you. Be my pleasure. So another thing too that I didn't show off is the sandbox mode. So here in the sandbox mode, let's say you're just you got done watching the webinar, you're really pumped, you're like, yeah, I want to practice, but we don't start racing for a bit. The sandbox mode is for you. Here we can actually test out everything that we're doing in a consequence-free environment. So we can create new drivers to our heart's content. We can get create them. It won't share out to the app or to anywhere. It's just going to be kind of just to us. What happens in the sandbox mode stays in the sandbox mode is what I like to joke. So you can practice this. There's only a couple things that I'll say. So for one, you cannot do the transponder integration because that really wants to share out to the public. And so in sort of the battle between sharing and staying to itself, it just stays to itself. And the other thing when you do that here is just make sure that you don't put in anything that you need to keep, because we do go through and we clear it out. So keep that in mind too. But otherwise, in the sandbox, as many people as you'd like at the same time. So we had a question here about how many people from the same track can work in the sandbox at the same time. So as many people as you have admins for. Yeah, Josh wants to know how to add in admins. I will show that off. So, and in the sandbox and in the main mode, you can actually have as many administrators as possible. Well, you have as many as you'd like. You probably want to cut it off at some point, but I'm not going to tell you how to do things. So here I went to this gear. We went into all settings. In here, members. We can see here, these are everybody that's been involved. We're interested in standard admins. So here we can see all of our standard admins. We have MyRacePass employees. We have Josh, who's been very helpful here on the chat. We have myself. But let's say I wanted to add in another person. Totally fine. We could click this email right here. Let's go put in Chris from MyRacePass. Put him here. So Chris already has an email in MyRacePass. So we're going to actually be able to link that. So when he uses his MyRacePass login, he's going to be able to log in with that. If he didn't have one, so let's do one that's not. We are able to put in the name and that if they are an admin. So an admin is able to change data. It's able to go into race nights, add events, a lot of things like that. So these here, you're not going to want to share this around. This is really important. So you're not going to keep it secret. Try to make sure you have a pretty good security there for your password. I would treat it the same as your bank account login, really. You want to make sure you protect this. But you can add in administrators here. Here at MyRacePass, we won't add in an administrator unless we know it's from one of the admins, but you can do it yourself. Also, keep in mind when you're adding in admins here, they won't immediately go to the sandbox mode. The sandbox mode sort of lives in the past. So if you do have some new people and you need to have them get into the sandbox mode immediately, make sure that they've confirmed their password. They got everything set there. You'll know if they have it because on right here, I actually have some people that didn't do it. You actually see this resend invite here for this for me again. That means they haven't confirmed their email. So they need to do that. But once they've confirmed that email, let us know. We'll refresh the sandbox mode, and they're able to get in. Again, let me know if you have any questions here. Alt and H is the place to do that. I'll be leaving it open here for a few minutes as well. The sandbox right next to it, or this button right here, you also have help and support. So you have all those articles. I showed that off here when we took a look at where we'd go for the scanners, where I got that link. I pulled that right from here. We also have the help videos that takes you to our YouTube page that not only has webinars that we've done in the past, it has short tutorial videos that we're going to be adding in more as we do it. So we can see that right here. Go back to here. Awesome. So again, Alt and H, the spot to go for any questions here. Maybe wrapping up in the next couple of minutes. So speak now or forever hold your peace. I don't know, just always wanted to say that. Sorry, we have fun here. Hey, and right here next to it, got our rewards. So it's going to be showing me the rewards here that I've been doing and how close I am to meeting those rewards. So we have our goals here. Again, super doable goals with our apparel items. Sell 50 apparel items, you're going to get $50 off, and the money that you get from that from the sales of them. You got your tickets here. MRP Live, using MRP Live, a lot of things that's kind of helping you out. And you hit all three, it's going to be $250 off. So you get a lot of cool things that we got going on here. All right, well, looks like that's me done for the day. If you do have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to us. We do have the support option here if you do need that. Again, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help out with whatever you need. I'm going to be in tomorrow. Sorry, getting up the full list of festivities here. So not only will this be up on YouTube probably tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon is when I'm going to be putting that up, but you can also join in tomorrow. We're going to be doing a Wissota full night of racing with schedule and classes for that, how we're going to be setting that up. MRP tickets, Dropship Apparel. If you're not a Wissota track, that's cool. You can join in. I don't discriminate. You can still ask any questions you want. I'm going to be going over a few different things here from sort of the season management side of things. So, I'm happy to have you on board. Uh, so you can join in. And then also on the 14th, so that's going to be Thursday, we're going to be doing one at 12:30. That's going to be directly about season management. We're going to be going over this tab right here. Also going to be going over online tickets and dropship apparel. So be sure to join in there. Then sometime probably around Thursday, we're going to be announcing the rest of the schedule for the next few weeks in March. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be announcing that to the world. It's been great having you. I hope you have a great rest of the day. We'll see y'all very soon. Have a good one.